There's a spot I go to every fall, just before the weather turns. It's about a 2-hour hike off the main trail in the Cascades. Nothing extreme, but remote enough that most casual hikers don't bother. I've been coming here for 5 years straight, always bringing my dog, Milo. He's a smart mix, part shepherd, part something else, and he's usually calmer out here than he is back home. Like me, I think he likes the quiet. This place isn't an official campsite. There's no fire ring or flat pad for a tent, but there's a small rise just above a lake inlet, surrounded by fir trees, and every time I come here, I feel like I've stepped outside of time. No cell signal, no trail chatter, just wind, water, and woods. I got in earlier than usual this year. The sky was overcast, but the weather was holding steady. Cold, dry air with that faint scent of wet moss. Perfect. I pitched my tent by mid-afternoon, boiled some instant coffee, and let Milo run laps around the tree line. We were alone, like always. No hikers passed us on the way in, no other tents, just forest and silence. The night crept in fast. I made a small fire, had a freeze-dried dinner, and crawled into my sleeping bag around 9. Milo settled at my feet, and for a while, everything was calm. Then, sometime past midnight, Milo sat up and let out a single, low bark. It was enough to jolt me awake. I listened, holding my breath. The forest was still. No crunching leaves, no animals moving. Just that heavy, pressing silence you get deep in the woods. I unzipped the tent and stuck my head out. That's when I saw it. Roughly 200 meters away, down near the tree line across the inlet, there was a faint, warm glow. A lantern. It pulsed softly from inside a tent I hadn't seen during the day. It was too far to make out details, but the light was unmistakable. Someone else was camping here. But I hadn't heard anyone arrive. No voices, no gear being set up, no footsteps. And that struck me as off. You can't hike in here without making noise, especially not with how dry the underbrush was this year. I watched the tent for a long time. No movement, no shadows inside, no flicker of activity, just that soft, steady glow. And silence. I didn't sleep much after that. I kept waking up, expecting to hear something. Maybe footsteps, or the low murmur of someone talking in the distance. But it never came. Just Milo, still and alert, beside me, ears twitching every time the wind moved through the trees. By sunrise, the glow from the other tent was gone. I climbed out of my sleeping bag and stepped outside. The air was colder than I expected, sharp enough to sting the inside of my nose. Milo stretched, sniffed the air, then immediately trotted to the edge of the ridge and stared across the inlet. The tent was still there. I could see it more clearly now. A dull green dome-shaped one, pitched slightly off the trail just where the woods started to thicken. I scanned the area with my binoculars. No movement, no people, just the tent sitting there, like it had been dropped from the sky. Milo let out a soft growl, his tail stiff. I leashed him and grabbed my water bottle, telling myself it was probably just a late hiker who turned in early and left no trace. Still, something about it gnawed at me. I hadn't heard a thing the night before. No fire crackling, no tent zipper, nothing. As we made our way around the lake, I noticed something even stranger. There were no fresh boot prints on the trail. The dirt was soft in some areas from recent rain, and my own tracks were easy to spot, but I didn't see any others. No tread marks, no animal tracks, nothing that indicated someone had walked through recently. When we got within 50 feet, Milo froze. He started barking, loud and sharp, ears pinned forward, body low like he was about to lunge. He wouldn't move any closer. I tugged the leash, gently, but he resisted, growling now. Not just at the tent, but directly at it, like he could smell something I couldn't. "Hello?" I called out. "Anyone in there?" No answer. I moved closer on my own, crouched a little, and looked around. The campsite looked lived in. That's what struck me. There was a smoldering fire pit, fresh ashes still warm. A tin cup rested on a rock nearby, half full of coffee that hadn't completely cooled, and next to the tent entrance, an open energy bar, only half eaten, but no one. I walked a slow circle around the tent. No backpacks, no shoes, no gear outside at all. The flap was zipped shut now, but the silence around it was absolute. Milo was still barking, relentlessly. Something was wrong here, deeply wrong. I stood there, staring at the tent, heart pounding in a way I hadn't felt since I was a kid, lost in the woods for 5 minutes. Milo wouldn't come near. He barked, circled, then pulled at the leash like he wanted to run. I crouched, called to him. Nothing worked. He wanted out. I knew I had a decision to make. Either unzip the tent and check inside, or walk away and try to pretend I wasn't feeling what I was feeling. Like the woods were pressing in tighter, and time had gone a little sideways. So I did it. I stepped forward, squatted down, and slowly unzipped the flap. It was empty. No sleeping bag, no person, no clothes. But it wasn't clean. There were small signs of use, indentations in the tent floor, like someone had been sitting cross-legged. A paperback book face down near the corner. A pair of reading glasses folded neatly beside it. I backed away, stood there in the cold, and let the silence settle over me. Then I did something I don't usually do on trips like this. I packed up and hiked out early. On my way down the trail, I passed no one. Not a single soul. Back at the parking lot, mine was still the only car. No tire tracks in the dirt road, no trash in the bins, no other hikers in sight. I stopped by the nearest ranger station on the drive home, just to let someone know. It wasn't even to report anything. I just said there was a tent in the woods near the lake. Someone might have left their stuff behind, maybe a missing hiker. The ranger on duty, an older guy with weathered skin and tired eyes, flipped through a logbook. His expression didn't change. "You said near the lake?" he asked. "Yeah, off trail a little, near the inlet." It was an olive green tent, fire pit still warm, like someone was just there. He frowned. "We haven't issued permits for that sector since last winter. Heavy rockfall closed it off until next month." I just stared at him. "I saw a tent," I said again, quieter now. There was hot coffee sitting outside, an energy bar. The fire was still smoking. He looked up at me slowly. "There shouldn't be anyone out there," he said. "And if there was, they didn't come through us." I didn't know what to say to that. Still don't. I haven't gone back to that spot since. Milo won't even get in the truck if he smells my hiking pack. But I still think about that tent. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder if I'd unzipped it just a few minutes earlier. Maybe someone or something would have been waiting inside.